Good morning, Rotary Club of Centennial. Did you miss us? Ms. Zing, would you inspire us this morning? Where did she disappear to? Hurry, hurry, hurry.
Sorry, and I just got my voice back. What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we lead. Nelson Mandela.
All right, very nice. It looks like Mike Ober isn't here, so let's do a group pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Shattuck.
When they asked me to do the Rotary Minute, I promised I wouldn't talk about polio. What I am going to talk about, though, are discussion groups. There are approximately 300 discussion groups that people can find on the Rotary website, and you can join any one of them. There are some groups, most of the groups are open. There are some groups that are by invitation only. In order to find discussion groups, you have to log in to the Rotary site as a member and then go to the tab that says Exchange Ideas. And then on that, you can click on discussion groups, and you can search for just about anything that you want, and they have just about everything that you want, except unfortunately for Karen, they do not have one on NASCAR.
You can start one.
However, you can start your own discussion group if you want to. You have that ability. But they have one on cryptocurrency. They have another one on photography, which I'm a member of, which is a challenge because it's in multiple languages that I'm not familiar with. So you have to look and see, okay, somebody from the United States or somebody who speaks English has posted one. But like I said, there are over 300 discussion groups that have open membership that you can join.
Right. Thanks, Don. Appreciate that. We don't have a business minute today. I'd like to thank Dr. Paul and Alan Jackson for setting up. And then I think Jay is doing teardown after we're done. Phil, great job jumping in as greeter. I think you'll probably remember to assign a greeter next week since I stuck you with that since you forgot. Diane Zing, great job on the inspiration, and group, you did an outstanding job on the pledge. Yenny, could you introduce your friend Amy, who is visiting? I guess this is her second time here.
This is Amy Bowen.
Microphone.
Oh.
Microphone.
This is Amy Bowen, and she's with Caliber Home Loans, and I've known Amy for about 10 years. We met four-wheeling, actually. Our families went on this four-wheeling adventure, and she has two twin little kids. At the time they were 2, and she actually trusted me with her little 2-year-old to drive her around on the four-wheeler. Anyway, Amy does home loans. She's been doing it for longer than I've known her. She opened up her own business, and now she started doing home loans with Caliber.
Very nice. Amy, you want to say a couple words? Are we going to give her a choice to back out?
Yes.
No.
Don't be mean until she fills out the application.
You still joined, and we were mean to you.
I was here before you.
Gosh, I don't know what to add to all of that. I started, I had my own mortgage business. It started in 2002, and I worked like 80 hours a week, so I'm just working for Caliber. I feel like I'm vacation. I can work 40 hours a week and have time for my kids, and so I'm liking it. But Yenny and I have been networking and having fun, and so I guess that's what matters, right? So
Wonderful.
Right. Well, thank you.
You're very welcome. So we are having a board meeting in the morning where we'll consider membership applications. So if you're so inclined, we could still fit you in this month. Just see Tripp, or I'm sure Tripp will come see you. Birthdays this week. Andrea Tagtower, Millennials, is March 14th, and Susan Paller is also March 14th. Rotary anniversaries. Don Shattuck will be a member of the club on March 24th for 3 years. Don, congratulations. And Amy Reese, one of our millennials, will be a 2-year member on March 15th. Samantha Rowe, let's do Student of the Month.
Good morning. Grace and Carmen, if you could come up here, please. This month, our Student of the Month is Grace Forsagi. Did I say it correctly? Okay. Grace is a senior at Arapahoe High School, and she's really, I've had a chance to chat with her a little bit. Her parents weren't able to join us this morning, but she is a senior. She's going to go to Belmont in Nashville. She's interested in music, business, and songwriting. So I'm going to let Carmen say a few words about Grace, why she nominated her, and then I'll have Grace say a few words after that.
Good morning. Always nice to be here. I nominated Grace for Student of the Month because she is just a ray of light, a ray of sunshine. Whenever she comes into my office, she just has this smile. It's just, I don't know, it just radiates to me. And I'm a little biased. I love music as well. I can't sing. Grace has a beautiful voice. It's so funny, you know, she sings the national anthem. She sang the national anthem a couple of times at our home basketball games at Arapahoe. And, you know, when a student comes up to sing, everyone gets like, oh, I hope they can really sing. And, you know, and sometimes you never really know. And Grace starts singing. By the time she's done, everyone's like, oh, my gosh, that was great. And, I mean, she really has a beautiful voice. And like I said, I love music, and we sit and we can talk about that. And from day one, when we started doing all her college stuff, I mean, she knew, I want to go to Belmont, I want to do music. I mean, it was laser focused, and she made it. She got into Belmont, and I'm just so excited for her. And she was so excited when she got the news. And every time I see her, she's always like, hey, Miss Cottrell, and just a smile. And she's just a great all-around young lady, and I just know she's going to be really successful.
Yes, you do.
Do you want to sing?
Do you want to sing the? Yeah. Do you want to sing the national anthem?
The national anthem. You can belt out if you like.
I will spare you that. It's a little early. I don't know if I can sing that right now. I am singing the national anthem on Thursday at Coors Field, actually, for the Arapahoe baseball game. So it's the first time I've ever not sang it in a stadium, like in a high school gym. So I'm a little bit nervous for that. When I'm going to Belmont University next year, it's like a really small private Christian university in Nashville, Tennessee, and it's really well known for its music business program, and I am really looking forward to just getting involved in the industry and learning a lot about that in college, and definitely making a big switch from Colorado to Nashville. I am really passionate about writing music, and I think my message is just I want to write music that's relatable and enjoyable to listen to, but also has a message, and hopefully be another form of beauty and just somebody that people can look to that doesn't look like everybody else and has some kind of different message. So that's my goal, to kind of expand on that in college. And yeah, that's me.
That's you.
So.
All right, wonderful.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Let's get a couple of pics real quick. Don Shattuck.
Oh, right. Sure.
That's your plaque.
Oh, thanks.
Great. Good job.
Congratulations.
Now that was inspiring. Jessica Reagan, could you talk to us a little bit about blessing bags?
Okay. Blessing bags. So we have an awesome committee that's starting. We're in the brand new stages of it, but me and Jessica Snyder are going to be your chair and co-chair for it. But basically, we're putting together, the goal is 400 bags for homeless in the area, and anybody who lives in this area or Denver knows the problem that we have in Colorado and how many people are on the streets. So we're putting together bags that will include shampoo and soap and toothbrushes and toothpaste and things like that, necessities for them. If anybody is interested in joining the committee, we have a meeting next week after Rotary, and we'll go through everything again. But our goal is basically to have these done by June 19th, and we hope that we can make it kind of a seasonal project. That way, it's something that's ongoing. So if anybody needs some, they can keep them in their car, because I plan on keeping a few in my car, because I pass like 5 people on my way to and from work every day. So if you're interested, shoot me an email or let me know today, and I can add you to the committee. And then if you want to be a part of the meeting, it's next week after Rotary.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ann West, you're on.
Yeah, thank you. My chat group has been a little late. What are you forgetting? Yes, all right. Hello, good morning. I headed up the chat group, and I had to postpone because some of the people were leaving the country for a couple weeks. So next week, on Tuesday at Hodson's, which is in Streets of South Glen, we are having our chat group. And it starts at 6. It's an evening chat group. I know that I don't know, it's after happy hour, but they're saying tacos and reduced price margaritas, which caught my attention. So we have a small group, and so I want to encourage, because we have the wine room reserved, it's considerably bigger than our small group. So I want to encourage you to join us, also to bring your honeys. And I look forward to seeing you there at Hodson, 6 o'clock on Tuesday the 20th.
All of our honeys or just one?
Well, if they want to all eat if you want to bring the kids, sure.
You know, more power to you. If you got multiple and you want to have them in the same room at the same time, that'll be entertaining for the rest of the group, I'm sure. Mary Alice Jackson, let's talk about prime timers.
Well, first of all, I want to tell you we broke our record yesterday, I think, with attendance at our luncheon for this month. We had 32 people there, and thanks, Diane, for sponsoring that luncheon. We had She was very good. We had a nutritionist there from CSU Extension, and had a great talk on nutrition for seniors, which actually is the same nutrition that it is mostly for anybody else, too. So anybody would have enjoyed it. It was great. I want to announce, too, that we have a committee meeting after this meeting today out in the lobby. So if anybody would like to join our committee that isn't already on it, please join us. We'd love to have more help and more people to have fun. That's about it. We don't have anything else scheduled for this week. We have a couple things on tap for April and May, different trips to town, one to the Denver Museum of Art to see the exhibit there on thank you, escaped me. And then another one back to Cinzetti's, because we didn't get to go last time. They canceled the bus and we had to cancel the trip. So those two are on tap. We have to be approved yet by the bus company before we know for sure. But anyway, that's where we are.
Mary Alice, do you have pictures of your events?
Yes.
So could you get with Andres? He's putting together the slideshow for the state of the city, and one of the things we want to highlight is prime timers. And so he will need some photos in order to do that. So if you could meet with him, thanks.
Mary Alice, when is the next movie?
We just did it. We've had one for March, so
okay.
Okay, great. Diana Y., could you stand up and face the group? So she wonders what she did. So I went to her when we didn't have any volunteers to handle Flower Power, and said, okay, I know you're a new member. I know you don't really know what this project is all about, but do you want to lead it up? She jumped in, she said yes. We totally threw her off the deep end of the dock. And she did a great job. Ken Hope helped her out, helped guide her a little bit. But she's kind of the recognition of the week. You did an outstanding job. I wish I would have been in town to get involved because it's a fun project. But anyway, great job. Thanks for jumping in, even when you were in water like way over your head. So Catherine Henschen wanted a few minutes to talk about the state of the city, but she's not here yet. If she comes in, we will jump to her wherever we are in the program. So next up is travel gifts. Why don't you get started and then I'll...
As you know, we went to Mexico, so I brought a couple of things back. I wanted to bring back one of the orphans, but they didn't let me take him back, so I'm going to sponsor him anyway. So I brought this little moon thing for your patio, and then attached to it is a worry doll to take away your worries that I got. And then this one I got thinking of Samantha Rowe, because I know she'll bid on it. It's a sample of tequilas.
That's awesome.
So I focused on stuff back in the States because we spent 3 days in Vegas recovering from Mexico. So first off, I've got an insulated In-N-Out Burger coffee mug, which is pretty slick. And we visited the Shelby Heritage Museum. So all you car junkies out there, this is an insulated aluminum water bottle from the Shelby Museum. And to keep it alive, a very nice set of leather coasters from Sky Combat Ace, where Karen's son works and flies. So these are brand spanking new. Brand new. So who's getting travel gifts? Is that Ann? You may. Mr. McCarty.
Yes, I wanted everybody to be aware of the fact that Gems of Madagascar, Michelle Rame and her nonprofit, she was here and spoke to us last August, and I traveled through Madagascar with her and a couple people of her group. They're doing their major annual fundraiser this coming Sunday in Longmont. I have some free tickets if you'd like to go. It starts at 4:30 in the afternoon, and they have 12 exhibit areas. They call it Experience Madagascar. So there's an area where children can dig through some sand for some gems. There's a section where you can learn about the Ari and how to multiply by 3,000 in your mind very quickly, so you can convert the money. There's 12 of these areas to learn about Madagascar. And then following that, there's a dinner. So if you're interested and are willing to drive to Longmont on Sunday, I have free tickets. Just let me know, and I'll be happy to get them to you.
Great. Thanks, John. Samantha Johnston. I think she's got a travel gift, too.
Yeah. So I traveled all the way downtown Inglewood and to this new place. It's called Tabletop Tap. It's phenomenal, and since you all like beer, all they serve is beer and like Diet Coke. So, and what it is, it's a place where you can go and you play board games, and they have free arcade games there too, so I suggest going. But I had to bring these coasters that they had because it was very appropriate to our Rotary Club. It says, "Hey guy, don't take my beer." So, yes, they are used. So, but I thought of you guys. Really from my heart.
All the way from beautiful downtown Englewood.
It's
Sure.
right off of Broadway and some other place. I wasn't driving. Keep going. You know where the Catholic bookstore was on the corner, which is now a head shop? And that it moved down. It's right in between the new Catholic bookstore and the head shop.
So are we to gather that you enjoyed copious quantities of their beers?
No, I had a Diet Coke. But although surprisingly, I was with my ex-husband and his girlfriend, so you would think I would be drinking. But no.
Cheryl Sartain.
I'd like to call everybody's attention to the bulletin, please. And look on the very back. April 3rd is an off-site meeting. So do not show up here, please, April 3rd. It's going to be at the Freedom Service Dogs location, which is right near Broncos Parkway. We will get the address published next week here in the bulletin so that you know where you're going. But I just want you to all be aware that we are going to have an off-site breakfast meeting, and we're going to have a demonstration given about one of the Freedom Service dogs.
Do you still need help organizing the breakfast?
I need somebody to take over the breakfast because I just don't have the time. But somebody please be willing to volunteer to get breakfast there. I would greatly appreciate that.
Don't everybody raise your hands at once.
Or we can go without breakfast.
Right. Somebody, I'll send out an email or I'll have Karen sign it, but we need somebody to kind of help out on this to get the breakfast organized if you could. All righty. Mr. Butler, I believe you have Happy Bucks.
Oh, good. What a great day to be the Happy Buck. I am super pleased. Let me grab IOUs because I am, for one, want to fill one out. Super happy whenever I see potential new members. So, I have the first dollar to welcome everyone here, that nobody in particular, but everyone here. How about this table? Any happy folks at this table here?
I have $1. Wednesday night, I'm leaving for the NIAN conference, which is the North American Youth Exchange Conference. And I have to find my dollar. Roxy and I will be going, and it should be really great. Next year, it's going to be in Denver, so we're going to do all the scouting and see how we can make it even better than this year. So, I mean, just in Denver alone, that will make it awesome. So.
Thanks, Samantha. Hold on. Jenny, good morning.
I have $1. Wanted to give a shout out to Samantha. She's been a great mentor. She checks up on me when I don't come to Rotary, and she reminds me of different events that are going on. So she's just been a good mentor for me.
Thanks, Jenny. Diana?
I'm happy to be giving my classification talk this morning.
Hi, Roxy. David?
I'm happy to be in John McCarty's chat group. John, thank you.
Cheryl? Oh, sorry, that was a Kleenex, not $1.
I'm happy that the quarterback signed that the Broncos signed a new quarterback, and it might not have been exactly the one we had hoped for, but at least we have a new quarterback.
Who was it? Rex Tillerson. Diane?
Well, it's not Cousins. Here's 5. John, I'm sorry I missed the group, but I was sick last week. And I just want to thank everybody for the project work they're doing. It's always fun to come and hear how things are going. And this is the best Rotary Club that you could join. So I'm just saying, we have a lot of fun here. And John, thanks for being our electronics guru again, over and over. It's great to be here.
Thanks, Diane. Good morning, Karen.
Good morning. I've got 3. One is a little story about Samantha Rowe, my friend over there. John and I were at the airport leaving for our trip to Mexico, and all of a sudden I hear this, Karen! And I see Samantha on the walking sidewalk going very quickly, and I'm like, hey! And, obviously she was in a hurry. Well, immediately after that we hear a page, Samantha Rowe, your planes were getting ready to leave, So I knew why she was in a hurry. Second one was glad to be back. We had a great time in Mexico and in Vegas, but it's always nice to be home. The third one is yesterday I was told about my yearly bonus and my raise, and all I can say is that my boss compensated me very well for the hard work that I've done. So very happy.
Yay. So where are we going on vacation, honey bunny?
I have 5. One is for welcome to our guest today. We're glad to have you. And I also forgot to talk about the chat group, but just before they left on vacation or to Manzanillo, there were only 4 of us in our chat group. We had Phil, and we got back here Alan and Tim Eunice. And all the girls were sick. So I was the only girl with the guys. We had a good time. We went a morning. We did early morning, helping out Phil, and we were at the Corner Bakery in South Glen. And also, I have another buck for saying, thank you, God, that all this flood I just went through in my house did not include digging the sewer line all the way out in the middle of the street. It cost me $600 instead of $15,000.
Yeah. How's your kitchen?
Good. Good morning. I want to recognize Mary Alice once again and the wonderful work you do with Primetimers. It wouldn't be possible without you. And yesterday we did a verbal survey with the 32 Primetimers that were there, gathered great information about future projects, and it's really, really exciting to feel the energy of the group and celebrating our new friendships with them as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Cheryl. Paul?
Yes, just a happy buck to Yenny for inviting her friend Amy. Is that right? Amy? Yenny? For Amy. Okay.
John?
This is a happy buck. I'm just glad to be back. Utah was nice and it was sunny and all that, but it's great to be back.
Utah.
I just have one because John Wexler is back, and I depend on him heavily for Meals on Wheels, but now he's fully employed, so I may not be able to do that.
Ken?
To follow up to Doug and to your Bronco fans, $1 will never have to hear the name of Kirk Cousins again.
Never say never.
This side of the 20.
We'll see, maybe next year.
Hello, Mary.
Hello. I have 2. One is for my wonderful committee on Primetimers. They have just done an outstanding job this year. And the other one is for our guests, and I hope you come back and join us.
I have a good riddance to a bad ski season, Buck. If you haven't been up there, there's no snow, so I'm hoping this is the last time we ever have a ski season that looked like this. I'm ready for powder days next year. So good riddance to a bad ski season. I did have a great time skiing this weekend. And just a happy Buck. It's light in the evenings, and I know daylight savings time is painful, but I really love seeing the light. Advertisement bucks, just a friendly reminder, if you're planning to go to the State of the City, please let me know if you're going to attend the lunch, and we are still looking for a few volunteers after the event. So if you wouldn't mind staying after and helping out, that would be great.
Samantha?
I have a sad buck, a safety buck, and a happy buck. So a sad buck, my boyfriend left for Ghana yesterday morning at 4 a.m. Safety buck because he doesn't get to where he's going until tomorrow afternoon because it's such a long travel. And a happy buck because he's going to put me in touch with the Rotary Club near him when he gets there. So,
thank you. Anybody over here?
Trip, I have another one.
Yes, ma'am.
Since Catherine decided to show up today, I have her Indy 500 tickets that she bought from us, and I'm really jealous. I'm contemplating keeping them because I would be excited to see Danica Patrick run Indy 500, but oh well.
No, you have the other two.
Presidente?
I have dos happy bucks. First, for the kids of Casa Hogar, Los Angelitos. I mean, we're going to go into more detail in a couple of weeks when we do a presentation on the trip, but to see these kids, some of which were pulled out of the dumps of Manzanillo and just abject poverty and have been taken into this house. They're smiling constantly. They're the most well-adjusted kids I think I've ever seen. And the look on their eyes when they got to play on this playground that we built was just absolutely overwhelming. Even the little guy that fell and knocked the wind out of himself was still smiling once he could breathe again. And then the second one is actually for Tim Eunice and Randy Ernest for taking over while I was out of town. I heard there were no insurrections while I was gone, so thank you guys so much for very boring. All right. So I had Catherine on my list of people to talk about state of the city. Do you have any more other than what you just did? Because I know we've got a committee meeting. Fill us in on state of the city.
Sorry, I was looking up actually Mary Alice said that she had signed. No, just a reminder for the committee that we are meeting afterwards, and it's kind of a critical meeting, so please be there. And we're getting close to selling out. We haven't quite, so we have a few to follow up on. And again, just a reminder, if you're willing to be a volunteer after at the end, that would be awesome. So that's my update.
All right, great. Thank you. So, Ms. Henshin, would you like to introduce our first classification talk speaker?
So we're going to start with Diana, and then after Diana, we're going to have Yenny. And last two members, we have one more new member that hasn't been up. We'll do that in May. But
This is a picture of my mom and dad, and again, we settled in New York with 5 siblings. It was 5 children, myself, and 4 siblings. This is the old neighborhood where we grew up in Brooklyn. This picture, of course, has a lot of urban redevelopment in it. This is a picture that I took of the old family homestead when I was back in New York, last year sometime. So a lot has changed, but the building still remains the same. The building is still there, surprisingly. Okay, so a little bit about my background.
She's so cute.
I will accept cute. So I spent my life in Catholic school. I went from grammar school through college in Catholic schools or universities. This is a picture of me making my first Holy Communion. If you look closely, you can see the year. It was 1960. All right, this is the one nobody better not laugh at. I joined the Army back in the day. I wanted to fly helicopters. They recruited me, telling me that I could fly helicopters, and got there and said, "You can't see, you're not flying any of our aircrafts." So I spent several years in Fort Rucker, Alabama. The little kid who had never left New York, I went to Fort Rucker, Alabama, and boy, did I learn about life in the South. It was a very interesting experience, and yeah, let's leave it at that. All right, so after I left the military, I came to Colorado with my first husband, and we settled here in Colorado. This is my family minus 1, my son, 2 sons bookending. That's me right there, my daughter, and my 2 diva granddaughters. The picture reflects family minus 1. Here's my minus 1, and you'll see why he is a minus 1. This is my 19-year-old grandson who is a sophomore up at University of Northern Colorado. That kid eats a lot. All right, so what do I like to do in my spare time, which I have very little of, starting a new business and being involved with Rotary? I love to travel. I love to travel to warm beaches. This picture here is from a trip that I took to I believe this was Costa Rica. I usually travel by myself. I spend my time just relaxing and thinking. This was the flight to Costa Rica. We were flying over the volcano that had just erupted several days before I left to go to Costa Rica. You can't see it really well, but that's the chair that I sat in every day while I laid on the beach and contemplated the meaning of life. And that's the resort that I stayed at while I was in Costa Rica. I like to read in my spare time. This picture shows the variety of reading materials that I enjoy. This picture on the right shows that I also like to drink. I like to drink while I read. So I combine drinking and reading, a nice glass of Prosecco or a glass of red wine, my favorite drinks while I'm reading. I also have a little baked brie and pears there. I like to treat myself fairly nicely. Okay, so how have I supported myself and my family? The last 20 years of my life before I went to massage school, I spent fundraising, and I fundraised for higher education. I spoke a little bit about the fact that education is so important to me. My first 10 years was spent at Metropolitan State University of Denver, where I wound up before I left, as their interim executive director. And I left there and went to the Community College of Aurora Foundation, where I was their executive director. I led a staff of 5 development professionals, and my team and I were responsible for raising millions of dollars to support programs, scholarships, and buildings. It was actually, it was a good career, but I did leave there. I left there after my blood pressure rose to 201 over some other ridiculous number. I knew it was time to change. The doctor told me I was in the stroke zone. I decided that one of the things that I really enjoyed in life was receiving massage. So I decided I was going to spend the rest of my life doing massage. This picture is where I went to massage school, Colorado School of Healing Arts, and this is a photo of me signing my application for massage school. I was under the impression that giving massage just meant that you rubbed your hands on somebody's body and you made them feel as good as I felt. Wrong. 9 months later, I went through anatomy, physiology, body works. It was almost as if I was in nursing school. And this was extremely stressful as well. So, it went down a little bit. So, the Now for Massage, I opened in 2015 my own company, Essence of Life Massage and Wellness Company, with a twofold purpose. What I wanted to do was to train other young massage therapists, because I realized while I was in massage school that while they are all very competent in giving massage, many of them don't have the business background to be successful. And that was unconscionable to me. I have a degree in business, and so I wanted to be able to share that with these young massage professionals. That's a picture of me doing a massage event. This was my old studio in my home. This was me doing seated massage. As you guys know, I did open up office space, about 3-4 months ago, right here in Centennial, which is why I joined this club. Some of the corporate clients, and my preference is to do corporate health and wellness programs, and I'll explain to you why in a minute. Some of the corporate clients, YMCA, Buckley Air Force Base, Community College of Aurora, Johns Manville, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so why massage, I believe, should be the next slide coming up. Does anyone know what this is a photo of? Nerves. No. And this is my why. These are blood clots. And I'm going to give you a case study to share my why. These blood clots came from patient 3564, who presented himself to an emergency room here in Colorado. He had passed out during a couple of Bronco games. And in the emergency room, they detected that he had blood clots. He had 4 of them. 2 in his legs, 1 in his lung, 1 outside the chamber of his heart. They kept him in the emergency room for 4 days and determined that because the blood clots had been there for so long, that they needed to be removed through a special surgery. It was called a pulmonary thromboendarterectomy. Try saying that 3 times real fast. They sent this young man who, I'm going to give you a few of his characteristics. He was an African-American gentleman, 31 years of age, had never been sick before, no history of illness in the family. They determined that because the clots had been there so long, he needed to have this special surgery which could only be done in San Diego. Now, this story becomes real personal for me because patient number 3564 happened to be my son. I spent 8 days at the University of San Diego with my son, and I may get a little bit emotional. What they did was he went into surgery. They split his chest open. They dropped his body temperature down to 66 degrees. They took his heart out. They took his lungs out. They hooked them up to a machine while they rotor-rooted the chambers of his heart and his lungs. This was an 8-hour surgery. The next time I saw my son, he was in the recovery room. And in the recovery room, he was swaddled in bubble wrap blankets because they had to raise his temperature back up to what the normal temperature is. The next day, they took him off of all of the pain medication that he was on so that they could make sure that he could breathe on his own. They left me in the room with him to walk him through that. My son, without any pain medication, was strapped to the bed. He couldn't move his arms. For 1 hour, he was without any pain medication. Tears are streaming down his eyes. He's in so much pain. He's pointing to me, to the doctors. do something to relieve this pain, and all I could do was just be there with him. When the surgery was over, it was a beautiful surgery, by the way. Make no mistakes about it. 2 cardiologists, 2 anesthesiologists, 2 pulmonologists. They did a beautiful job 8 hours later. When he was finally seen by the doctor and I was there, they were very proud of what they had done. But I asked them one question. I said, do you know what caused these blood clots? And their answer to me was, we don't have a clue. And it was at that point that I became really upset. I said, so what do you recommend this young man do? Well, we're going to put him on blood thinners, and he may be back here 10 years from now. You're asking probably, Diana, what does this have to do with massage? What this has to do with massage is the fact that I know what caused these blood clots. What caused these blood clots was stress. No one bothered to ask my son. All the doctors that saw him, no one bothered to ask him, what's going on in your life, young man? I knew that his body had been in sympathetic mode, meaning fight or flight, for years. No one ever asked him. To me, it just reinforced the fact that massage can help the body stay in parasympathetic mode. The question I have to ask folks is, would you rather spend $500,000 on a surgery like this? Or would you rather spend $65 every other week to get a massage that can help you lower your blood pressure? I've oversimplified the facts of the story, but I only had 12 minutes. How am I doing on time? Okay, good. So this is why I'm so passionate about massage, and in particular, corporate massage. Imagine the company that he worked for that had to look at this bill when they got it. I'm sure they really loved him. His portion of the bill was over $100,000. So now, in addition to being strapped with student loan debt, because he did 4 years at Syracuse, he now has $100,000 in medical bill debt. So anyway, that's my story. My Rotary why. My grandmother, the beautiful soul that you saw at the beginning, taught all of her kids that to whom much is given, much is expected. In my professional career, I've always been a member of Rotary. Rotary Club of Aurora, for 7 years, I served on the board of directors. Rotary Club of Denver, probably about 7 months. I also served on the board of directors there. And now the Rotary Club of Centennial. Will I serve on the board of directors? Yes. Who knows? I don't know. Other volunteering that I've done, volunteering is in my family's blood. I was a parent volunteer at Colorado Academy, J.K. Mullen High School, which is where my kids went to school. Colorado Children's Chorale, served on the board of directors there. The Denver Boulder Better Business Bureau, served on the board of directors there. And the Aurora Chamber of Commerce, served on the board of directors of Leadership Aurora. And with that, if I can get this thing to advance, I live my life with an attitude of gratitude. As you can see, I'm blessed. In spite of everything that I have been through, I am amazingly blessed. I'm blessed to be here this morning with you guys, and I'm blessed and I'm grateful. That's all I can say, sir. I am so sorry, but I'm happy that you asked that question. She immigrated here from Haiti, the island nation of Haiti, which some people refer to by another name, which I'm not going to refer to it by. But you understand why I was a little bit upset with that remark, but from the island of Haiti in 1920. Thanks for asking, Tim. That's it. That's who I am. Thank you.
I heard her say, parent volunteer at Colorado Academy. That's great. I spent 13 years doing that too. Thanks to my wonderful daughter. She did well. Okay, are you ready? Come ahead, Yenny.
going to pass today.
He gets his women mixed up all the time.
Good morning. My presentation's not going to be nearly as entertaining as Diane's, but I will do my best. Thank you for having me here, and I'll just jump right in. So my name's Yenny, and I started Rotary with Tim. He invited me. I took one of our vehicles at the time, and that's how I started with Rotary. My background is in finance, so I was the first, I guess, daughter, family member in my family to graduate college. I worked through college to put myself through college so I wouldn't have to be in debt, but I still was. But it was just a great experience, a great honor that I was able to do that, and then my two sisters followed. Right out of college, I got pregnant with my son, and he is 17, so I was a single mom. I worked and went to school. And my first job out of college was working local government. And so I worked for the city of Greeley, and then worked there for years until I moved to Denver, where I worked for Arapahoe County. And my background is in finance, and so I've done finance for a long time. Let's see, right out of Arapahoe County, I was married at the time, and my ex-husband and I decided to take a plunge and open up our own business. And because I come from finance, I thought, this will be great. I can open up my own business, I can run the books. I know that side of opening a business very well. But little did I know that owning your own business is you're wearing multiple hats. And the hat that I ended up fitting myself into was doing the business development and doing marketing. I thought years of being in finance, I always considered myself an introvert. So my very first meeting that I had to introduce myself and do a presentation, I was shaking. It was out of my comfort zone. During those years of opening my own business, I learned a lot about myself because, like I said, I always considered myself an introvert, and having to promote my business and sell my business, I had to get out of that comfort zone that I had been in really all my life. And it really challenged me, and it also stressed me out. I lost a lot of sleep, began to drink a lot because I was like, this is completely different. It's a 180 from what I was used to doing, but I really found my niche. I thought going into an office, closing the door, doing my daily office work, I thought that's what I had done through college, after college, up until I owned my own business. And then I found my niche, and then I thought, you know what, I really like to meet new people. I like to talk to new people. But most of all, I always thought it's that relationship that I built. And when I first opened up this business, it was in construction. And so that alone was a different career for me. I had no idea. I had no knowledge of any type of construction. And so when I first left my full-time job to become a full-time business owner, I went with one of my crews, and I told him, I said, put me to work. I need to know what you do, because in order for me to sell that, I need to know what I'm selling. And I didn't know what I was selling. All I could tell at first was, hire me, let me come in and do the work for you. But then they'd ask questions, why? Why should I hire you? You're a contractor. Our business is pretty much at the bottom. And I didn't know why they should hire me and why they should hire my crew. And so for the first year of my business, I would go to work with my guys. And so whether it was painting or demoing, pulling carpet, I've done it. And so I took a lot of pride doing that, because I thought, I now know what I'm selling. It's not just a contractor. It's just not putting your house back together. It's just not picking colors and painting walls. I know what it takes in order to do that. And I became very prideful of what I was doing. And life has a way of, turning pages and so on. And fortunately and unfortunately, my husband and I decided to part ways. And it left me in this state of limbo. I didn't know if I wanted to go back into finance world or if I wanted to do what I was doing before. And it took a lot of that self pick me up, and it was a crucial time for me to continue to put myself together, because I have a teenager and it's just life, life happens. And I did go back to the finance world. I worked for CU Medicine, and I easily became depressed because I was used to going in this very fast-paced environment, and going back to the finance world where everything is, you do what you do every day. It's pretty much the same. I thought I need to go back, because this is where I finally found my niche, and I'm 40 years old, and I thought that my niche was finance. And so I made some calls, and I pretty much came to a company and I said, this is why you need to hire me. This is what I can do for you. And he said, okay, when can you start? And 2 weeks later, I started with this construction company doing their business development. And, like I said, I found my niche. I've brought in some pretty big clients, and I'm really proud of myself, because I'm like, I did this all on my own. I fell, I cried, everything that you can possibly think of to get me to where I am now, I did. And it's one of those things where you look back, and even though at the time you're thinking, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know what direction I'm taking, I know I have to work because I have to make a living, and every little step that I did brought me to where I'm at today. And then 2 weeks ago, I was approached by another contractor, and they asked me if I wanted to partner up with them. And it was one of those things where I'm in my comfort zone. I'm like, this is my niche. I have a steady paycheck. I'm doing what I love. And they approached me, contractors that I've known for years, and they said, we really would love for you to become a business partner in this business that we've established. And so it's one of those things where you're going back and forth, and I'm thinking, I'm established. I'm finally, I don't have to worry about it. I'm just doing my own thing. And yesterday I met with them, and I decided that this is what my calling is. I'm still going to work for this construction company, because they specialize in commercial construction, and so the business that I'll partner up with is residential. So I will be doing both. So a little personal about me. Like I said before, I'm 40. I have a 17-year-old son, and he's going to KU. He wants to be a mechanical engineer. And he's my reason why. That's my reason of getting up every morning and striving to be better. I always tell him I'm mom and dad. So we have to have those talks. And some days are easier than others. Some days I'm shocked at the things that he shares with me. But at the end of the day, I'm so happy that he shares those things with me, because I'm mom and dad. And so having that relationship with him has been great. It's been stressful. He's 17, and he's independent. There's a lot of times where I have to be like, hey, you're still 17. There's a lot of things that you don't need to worry about. Let me worry about it, because I'm the parent. You're the child. But there's a lot of things that he'll say, did you eat today? Or, he'll send me a text, and he'll say, and if I respond while I'm driving, he'll say, you're texting while you're driving. So little things like that. It goes back. And a lot of the times I'm like, I'm the parent, just remember that. But anyway, on my spare time, I really enjoy to cook. I'm pretty much a homebody. I like to cook, I like to bake, I like to read. I do like to go hiking, not for anything else, but just to clear my mind. I love being outside. I do like to work out. I'm not an avid workout person, but I do love to work out. I always tell myself, back when I was younger, I would say if I work out 6 days a week, that's good. Like that's my standard. I need to work. Well, it's reality in your life and you work. So now I'm like, if I work out 3 days a week, that's really good. If I take my dogs for a walk, that's considered a workout. So I have 2 little dogs, and they're my companion. They're my stress reliever. Doesn't matter, two of them, Gracie and Molly. They're 2 little Shih Tzus. So anyway, they're my stress reliever. After I've had a long day at work, doesn't matter what time I get home, they're always excited to see me. So anyway, the reason I joined Rotary, I needed something to fulfill me, something, the volunteer piece of it. I volunteered at CASA when I was younger. I volunteer at the Ronald McDonald House. So once a year, we do dinner for all the families that are there, and I'll bring in all the fixings, and we'll do a pizza night. And so we've been doing that for the last 4 years. And so I wanted something that I can give back. And I'm very fortunate. There's a lot of things that we can wake up in the morning and say, God, I wish this was better, or this could be better, or I wish I had this, or I wish I had that. But at the end of the day, I'm healthy, and I've been through not having health, and I think overall as an adult, if I don't have the health, then it doesn't matter how much money I make or what I have in the bank account or what I fill my house with. If I don't have the health to enjoy it, then none of that matters. And so I joined Rotary so that I can give back and be able to just be a happy face for somebody who's having a hard time. So that's just a little bit about me.
Yanni, now you've got family that came here from elsewhere too, right?
Yes. So I came to the United States when I was 3. My family, I was born in Mexico City. And just a side note, my dad came to the U.S. as an amateur boxer. And so he was recruited, and my mom was pregnant with me and did not want to travel with me. And so she waited 2 years before she came to the United States. So that's how we end up here.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, if people talk about immigrants, you get people like you.
How do I take this off?
So you mentioned stress, so I'd like to introduce you to Diana Why over here. And you also mentioned alcohol, so I'd like to introduce you to Samantha Rowe, because she has probably the most remarkable collection of liquor in the entire club.
And I haven't really touched it.
Yeah, we're not quite buying into that, but that's okay. The wine's gone. Okay. All right. So a couple quick reminders. We've got a board meeting tomorrow, Cottrell Printing at 7 a.m. All members are always welcomed and encouraged to attend. If anybody has anything that they need to get on the agenda, since we've been out of town, I'm a little out of touch. So let me know if you've got anything that needs to get on the agenda for tomorrow. And again, we have